streaming live on the KREF app.
The Ref Sports Radio Network.
Live from the Buffalo Wild Wings studios, it's time to get locked into the best Sooner recruiting and football news with Parker Thune and Grayson Singleton.
You better lock it up. No, you lock it up. You lock it up. Lock it up.
Hit the guys up on the Riverwind Casino call-in line at 405-329-9000 or text the show at 405-651-3439.
Do it! Just do it!
Now, with Locked In, here's Parker Thune and Grayson Singleton.
Let's go here on Locked In on the Ref, the home of Sooner fans. Final show of the week, and 23 hours and 30 minutes from now, if ESPN college games started on time, the Sooners will be taking the field and kicking off against the number 4 ranked team in the country, the Crimson Tide of Alabama. Our show today is brought to you by Dorsey Jones Buick GMC out in El Reno. And if you don't have plans other than watching the Oklahoma-Alabama game tomorrow, well, now you do. Because if you need an oil change, hit up our friends out in El Reno at Dorsey Jones GMC, as they have half-priced oil changes on Saturdays, along with their family-friendly service and a friendly sales environment as well. So go tap in with our friends at Dorsey Jones GMC out in El Reno. Grayson Singleton in the Buffalo Wild Wings studios on this Friday afternoon. Parker Thune is somewhere. Thune, where are you right now?
What's up, homie? Right now we are rolling Memphis, Tennessee, as a matter of fact. So we're actually not in the middle of nowhere the way that I half expected to be when we were doing this show. We're actually approaching the Bass Pro Shops pyramid here in Memphis. So
oh, really?
There's a very recognizable landmark for all of you that need to visualize where I'm at. But yes, maybe I'm the weird one. Maybe this is not standard procedure for those of you that frequently take road trips, but I am always the one to jump in the back seat on road trips. I always take the back seat. I prefer it. So, got Brandon and Brody up front on the front row. I'm chilling here in the back, talking ball, talking recruiting. What could be better?
You let the kid be in the shotgun seat, didn't you?
Dang straight.
See, my 6'2" self needs the leg room, so I try to avoid the back seat as much as possible. Hey, before we get to recruiting, and we're going to get to that, I also want to do something that you and I wanted to do yesterday, but I want to get to that later on in the show. But, man, to open things up, I think it's appropriate that the first thing we talk about with this Oklahoma-Alabama game is first down. And in listening to everybody and thinking about this game leading up to Saturday, if Oklahoma's on defense can win first down, that to me is your biggest recipe for stopping this Alabama offense. Because if you can keep Alabama in second and long, in third and long, now that's when you get to that pass rush that Brent Venables is so good at, cooking up. Whether it's the exotic pressures or just exotic ways to get pressure with 4. You've got athletes on the back end. The worst thing you can do if you're Oklahoma's defense is allow Alabama to play ahead of the chains on schedule, 2nd and 3, 3rd down and 3, because at that point you don't know what they're going to do. And yes, they can't run the football, but they're pretty good at extensions of the run game in terms of swinging the ball to the perimeter. They've got athletes that can make stuff happen after the catch. But if you can keep them in 2nd and 7, 3rd down and 7, where you know Ty Simpson's going to have to drop back 5 steps, and you can give that pass rush, even without our Mason Thomas, that still has really good guys that can get pressure on the interior and around the edge. To me, that's where it starts for Oklahoma in terms of making this Alabama offense uncomfortable and maybe giving yourself the best chance to win the football game.
Yeah, Grayson, it's a really good point, and I think that goes both ways. Yes, Oklahoma's recipe for success on defense is going to be stifling Alabama on first down, making sure that you're putting them in compromised 2nd and 3rd down situations where your pass rushers can bend their ears back and get after the quarterback. As I've said, I don't expect our Mason Thomas to play in this game, but you're still going to have Taylor Wine, still going to have PJ, still going to have Danny could be applied every bit as much to Oklahoma's efforts on the offensive side of the ball as it can to the defensive side of the ball if we're talking about what's going to enable Oklahoma to go and win this football game on the road. Because if you've watched Oklahoma football this year, where has that offense bogged down most frequently? They've bogged down when they don't make any progress on first down, when they don't move, when they don't make any progress or, God forbid, get behind the chains on first down. You're dealing with a second and double digits. Man, it's been really, really hard for this offense to dig out of those types of holes. And it's not without exception. I think we can all remember Torrey Blaylock scampering for 18 yards on a 1st and 20 to really get Oklahoma's run game rolling early in that game against South Carolina. You can recall John Mateer getting outside the pocket, bouncing it out for a first down on 3rd and 16 against Tennessee. Really, really crucial play that helped get John Mateer back in rhythm in the second half of that game in Neyland Stadium. But, yes, winning first down on both sides of the football is going to be crucial for Oklahoma if they want to be able to go into Bryant-Denny Stadium, take the air out of that Crimson Tide crowd, and be able to stand a chance of going 3-0 in true road games in the SEC this year.
Which, by the way, that would include road wins over South Carolina, Tennessee, and Alabama, which would be absolutely nuts and should jump your resume to where that you can make the college football playoff. By the way, some of you guys are telling me that the app is down, and if the app is down and we've had problems with it throughout the early afternoon, head over to YouTube, and you can catch Parker and I on YouTube. Just search KREF Sports on YouTube, and you'll be able to find us there. And, Park, to that point about getting behind the chains if you're Oklahoma, you know, Alabama is the best team in the country at turnover margin, or in the SEC, excuse me. And Oklahoma has, you know, even though they got 3 turnovers against Tennessee last week, it's starting to look better. Over the course of the season, they just haven't been good at that area of the game. But you give yourself a better chance to at least not turn the football over if you're winning on first down. Because if you're playing from 2nd and long, 3rd down and long, that's when the pass rush starts to come after you. You've got to press the ball down the field. And if there's one thing you can say about Alabama's defensive backfield, man, they will take the football away if you give them the opportunity. So that's even more reason to make sure that you stay ahead of the chains, ahead of schedule, so you can operate in your quick game, run the football, maybe get some option with John Mateer, and not live in a 3rd and long drop back situation. I think that's more imperative for Oklahoma just because they have the quarterback so far who has been more turnover prone this year.
Well, and if you go back to Oklahoma's 24-3 victory over Alabama, that out-of-nowhere, resounding upset victory a year ago on November 23rd, 2024 at Owen Field, you can kind of apply the same blueprint. Now, to be clear, I don't think Oklahoma is going to be able to play the exact same game that they played last year and be able to win. There was a lot that felt, and I don't want to use the word gimmicky because nothing felt gimmicky about that win. That was a convincing win for Oklahoma a season ago. But a lot of things broke their way early on such that they were able to control the game flow and really take Alabama's fastball away. And that enabled Oklahoma to really control the entire contest over the final 30 minutes. You get the interception from Eli Bowen and then the second Kip 6 from Kip Lewis, and that was really all you needed. At that point, it felt like Alabama laid down and died. But Jackson Arnold only threw the ball 15 times in that football game. The majority of the damage that Oklahoma did offensively that day came on the ground. And I think it's going to have to be something similar this year because Alabama has the second best pass defense in the SEC, second only to Missouri. And John Mateer is not a guy that, at least from what we've seen this season, is going to light it up through the air. That's just not who he is. In fact, he hasn't thrown multiple touchdown passes in a game since the opener against Illinois State. He is yet to crack that 300-yard barrier for a single game. So John Mateer isn't going to, he's not the type of guy that's going to go gung-ho and start dropping bombs downfield for 60 minutes. That's not the style of football that he's accustomed to playing. That's not the style of offense that Ben Arbuckle has cultivated at Oklahoma. So I do believe, especially with the way that Xavier Robinson's been running the ball lately, he's a guy Oklahoma's going to lean on early and often in this football game. Now, Torrey Blaylock will no doubt also be involved, but look for Oklahoma to make a strong attempt early on to establish some consistency in the run game. And if that happens, then that sets up opportunities in the play-action game, opportunities in the quick game to get guys like Isaiah Satania and Deion Burks the ball on the perimeter with screens and the like to be able to stretch this defense out. And if that's the type of rhythm that you can get in early in this football game, then I think what that sets up is a very sustainable method to be able to do exactly what Oklahoma did a year ago against Alabama, which is control the flow of the game. And that is a crucial recipe in pretty much any upset bid, especially on the road. You've got to control the flow of the game.
Yeah, 100%. And that's what Oklahoma did in the second half against Tennessee, I believe. What do you guys think on the text line? 405-651-3439. Let us know your thoughts, and on YouTube as well. Boom Tutties on YouTube says, you guys are all great. Thank you, Boomer. And also sent us a super chat as well. So we appreciate you. Park, I did this exercise with Teddy earlier on in the week. If Oklahoma's going to win the football game, who are you looking at that has to have their best day of the season? And for my money, it was Cortland Guillory, because if you look at this Alabama team and the way they like to attack downfield, sure, Guillory has been good, but he is a true freshman. So I expect that Ryan Grubb and Ty Simpson are going to want to see, can you hold up against Ryan Williams? Can you hold up against Jeremy Bernard? So I think he and really the rest of the defensive backfield is going to have its best game of the season if Oklahoma's going to win this game, because if Ty Simpson's just lighting you up in the intermediate game especially, and then maybe taking and hitting on some deep shots, I think Alabama wins the football game if that happens consistently. So my eye is going to be on how does Cortland Guillory hold up against a really good pair of Alabama wide receivers. Who would you say has to have a really big game for the Sooners to win this one?
Yeah, look, Grayson, you are spot on. You are right on the money, because that is the correct answer. It's easily Cortland Guillory, and here's why. What do we know about that Oklahoma cornerback room right now? We know Gentry Williams is going to be unavailable tomorrow. Aggravated that shoulder. He's out. Showed up on the availability report last night. Not as out, but as doubtful. Either way, he's not going to play Saturday. Eli Bowen completely powered down Ryan Williams last year to the tune of 2 receptions in that game for a guy that had been one of the more impactful wide receivers in all of college football throughout the season. And so I guarantee you, as Alabama's preparing for this football game, especially with the knowledge now that Gentry Williams is not going to be out there taking snaps at cornerback for Oklahoma, they're not going to be as eager to attack the guy who locked down Ryan Williams all game last year at Owen Field. They're going to be much more inclined to attack the true freshman who, let's be honest, he's had some outstanding moments this season, but he's also had some moments where the casual observer would watch Cortland Guillory's play and go, yep, well, okay, there's a freshman right there. There's a dude who's learning on the job. And that's fine, right? You expect that from a true freshman. And I love what Brent Venables said on Sooner Sports Talk earlier this week about Cortland Guillory, and I think you see it in the way he carries himself. He's not a guy that gets down on himself. If he gets beat or commits a penalty, he's on to the next play, on to the next snap, and that's the type of mentality that you have to have, especially in this league, if you're going to rise to all-conference status, which I think Cortland Guillory is certainly capable of at a position like cornerback. And so I think Alabama's going to make every effort to target Cortland Guillory in the passing game, and he's going to have to rise to the challenge. Now, how many snaps does he play in this game? Who knows? You'd think that number ticks upward with Gentry Williams' absence, but no doubt you'll see some Davon Jordan. You may see some Jacoby Johnson. No question about it, though. Eli Bowen and Cortland Guillory are Oklahoma's 2 meal ticket guys at cornerback in the present. And so given that Alabama is probably going to be a lot more inclined to go after the true freshman than the former freshman All-American who took away their wide receiver one a season ago entirely over the course of that upset win for Oklahoma, I think it's absolutely the case that Cortland Guillory is the guy that needs to play his best game of the year for Oklahoma to win this game.
405-651-3439 on the text line. U.S. Army Sooner starts us off by saying this is game 10 in an SEC season. Cortland isn't a freshman anymore. He's ready, and I expect him to be up to the task. Hey, look, he is going to be up to the task. He's going to be ready to go. If there's one thing you know about Cortland Guillory, if you've observed this dude's mannerisms, this dude ain't scared of nobody. He's going to be ready to go. Whether it's Bernard lining up against him, whether it's Ryan Williams or whomever, he's going to be ready to bring it. It'll just be a matter of whether or not he can get it done, Park.
Amen to that. He's not scared. And that's one of those qualities that you just have to have as a cornerback. Yes, you have to be very technically sound. You have to be able to play with physicality, sure, but you also have to be fearless. And this is one of the things that's enabled Eli Bowen in 2024 to play as much as he did and emerge as such a key cog for Oklahoma in the secondary as a true freshman. It's the exact same quality that has helped Cortland Guillory fly so fast, so early on here at Oklahoma. But you're right, and U.S. Army Sooners right. Yes, it's game 10 of Cortland Guillory's true freshman season. You would expect him to be ready, but it absolutely is the case that he is still a true freshman. And just because it's game 10 doesn't make him any less of a true freshman. I think we all saw this last year against LSU with Eli Bowen, right? That was game 12. That was the regular season finale. And a guy who had played really, really well pretty much all season up until that point had several freshman moments that night against the Tigers. So, again, Guillory's a guy that's learning on the job. He doesn't have it all figured out yet. No one would expect him to, but he brings that type of next play mentality and that type of aggressive mindset at the cornerback position that if everything goes the right way for him tomorrow and he doesn't have the type of bust or two that can lead to a big play downfield or a pass interference penalty if you're able to save it, and you get caught out of position at cornerback, regardless of whatever the case may be, as long as Cortland Guillory doesn't have one of those busts or a couple of those busts that he and several other members of the Oklahoma secondary have had at times throughout the season, then I think this is the type of guy that from a mentality standpoint is perfectly suited for the task ahead, which will be containing the tandem of Ryan Williams and Jeremy Bernard in what ought to be a very lively Bryant-Denny Stadium.
Boomer Barba says, let us remember Eli was a freshman last year, true that. And a texter in the 580 says, we need to either get pressure with 4 or 5, or when we rush 6, we better get home. We need our safeties to play their best games of the season. Amen to that. No missed tackles or biting on play action. Thune, real quick, your reaction to that.
Yeah, biting on play action can't happen because that's how you get beat downfield. And what Oklahoma has to do is minimize big play opportunities for Alabama. This is not an offense that you can hand big plays to. This is not a team that you can hand big play opportunities to and expect to be able to go blow for blow with them. Alabama is not really an offense that is terribly inclined to produce big plays anyway. So as long as you don't give them freebies, let's be clear here. In a variety of different ways, the ingredients are there for Oklahoma to pull an upset tomorrow in Tuscaloosa. And if you're paying attention to the line in Vegas, I think most of the country is very well aware of that reality heading into the action.
Certainly. I mean, they certainly could win the football game. This isn't a team with Alabama that overmatches the Sooners by any stretch of the imagination, even though it's a pretty damn good one. Hey, coming up next as we just get rolling in this 2 o'clock hour for Locked In, one Sooner commit is taking a visit to LSU and the latest on a former Duke commit who is now an Oklahoma target. All that and more coming up as Locked In continues on a Friday here on The Ref, the home of Sooner fans.
Dustin Dvorak here. Do you eat, sleep, and breathe football? KREF is the only place for the most comprehensive daily analysis of Sooner and college football. We are the football experts. We're the home of Sooner fans. Download the KREF app and listen from anywhere.
Coach Stoops here for Van Hoos Fence. If you want to work with the best local fence company and get championship service, contact my friend Mark and the Van Hoos Fence team. Van Hoos Fence gives each customer the most professional craftsmanship and competitive pricing in Oklahoma. From wood to chain link to vinyl to metal fences, the Van Hoos Fence team does it all. Contact the Fencing All-Americans at Van Hoos Fence, 405-735-1167 or vhfence.com.
What are you doing out there?
Come on!
I saw you at the game the other night. Yeah, you. Up there getting mad, acting like we're all out there making $1 million a game. Well, let me be real with you. This isn't the pros. It's school sports, and it's a game, our game. So please, let us play.
School sports fans, remember, when you cheer for your team, make noise for the right reasons. This message presented by the NFHS and the NIAAA.
And all student athletes in Oklahoma.
I wanted to use the Oklahoma Tobacco Helpline because I knew that I could get resources for free. I didn't realize there would be a coach. And that was awesome because you have someone calling you consistently, making sure that you're accountable. It felt like I was talking to a friend. It was a very easy experience for me. So yeah, it was a very key part to my success in quitting smoking.
Call us at 1-800-QUIT-NOW to get started, a program of TSAT.
Tired of feeling pressured by salespeople when shopping for auto insurance? At Right Way Insurance, there's no hard sell, just a clear, straightforward approach. We work with multiple insurance companies to give you the best options and rates with no gimmicks. You'll get the right coverage tailored to your needs, all while avoiding hidden fees and confusing policies. So if you're ready for a better experience with auto insurance, visit rightwayinsuranceok.com or call 405-607-6014 for your free quote today. Right Way Insurance, no pressure, just the right insurance for you.
Sidelined by injury, illness, surgery? Valor Physical Therapy and H2 Health Company can help. A 10-time Community Choice Award winner, let our skilled therapists create a rehabilitation program individualized just for you. Whether it's sports or the activities of life, let Valor get you back in the game. Start now at valorpt.com or call 405-609-3637. No referral needed. Mention the ref and get a free t-shirt at your first appointment.
All right, folks, you know the holiday season is rapidly approaching, and the last thing you want is to have issues with your vehicle when you're traveling to go see your friends and family. Bring your vehicle to AMCO and let them perform their free vehicle courtesy check. Their trusted technicians will check your vehicle's systems and help you get back on the road so you can feel safe. Financing available at all locations. AMCO, Norman, Midwest City, Oklahoma City, Edmond, Yukon, and Tulsa.
Are you, your family, or company looking for a locally owned and trusted management group? Carlsbad Management Group is an owner, developer, and manager of high-quality apartment communities in Oklahoma. They are a locally owned and operated management company for apartments and self-storage units. They are committed to providing exceptional apartment homes, customer service, and increasing the value of multi-family communities under our management. If you would like a free management quote today, call Carlsbad Management at 405-701-1411 and be part of the Carlsbad family.
This Thanksgiving, the deals are something to be thankful for at Cavender Ford of OKC. We're serving up incredible lease specials on everything from rugged and adventurous Broncos to hard-working F-150s, all designed to fit your lifestyle and your budget. So go ahead and treat yourself to a test drive today at 7320 Northwest Expressway, or start your shopping online at CavenderFordOKC.com. Cavender Ford of Oklahoma City, where confidence is Cavender.
For those of you in the Ref Army who are already out there in Alabama, The Rush with Travis Davison and Tyler McComas will be broadcasting from downtown Birmingham at the roof at the Redmont Hotel. That's 2101 5th Avenue in Birmingham. So make sure you stop in, holler at Travis and Tyler down there in Birmingham. If you guys are already down there, if you're en route, safe travels, as is to Parker Thune and the rest of the OU Insider crew that is heading down to Tuscaloosa right now. Hey, Parker, so I'm going to be in Mustang tonight as Norman North visits Mustang to kick off the first round of the postseason, and that means that I'll see Sooner target Gabriel Osborne, 2027 kid, 4-star corner, out at Mustang. How are things looking with him right now as we turn our attention to recruiting?
Yeah, well, I think Oklahoma has established an early lead, no question, with Gabe Osborne. If you look at his offer sheet, though, he's got all the big programs in the country coming after him. So I don't necessarily get the sense that recruitment's going to be over soon, but no doubt that's a guy that Oklahoma has placed a high emphasis on keeping within state lines because he's having an unbelievable junior season. There is going to be, and we talked about it earlier in the week, going to be quite the dogfight between him, Smosh Stanford, and Case Alexander to determine who is the state's number one ranked defender when the 2027 cycle wraps. So, man, Gabriel Osborne going up against Mason James tonight, that's a holy smokes.
Yeah. I can't wait for that one. Mustang, I also, in doing prep for it, they've got a 3-star safety by the name of Tayton Duncan, who's been taking visits to Iowa State and West Virginia as well, decommitted from Army. So I'm excited to see them, and obviously Jaden O'Neal is the quarterback down there, former OU committed quarterback. He's now committed to Florida State. But one Oklahoma commit, Braden Allen, is taking a visit to LSU now?
Yes, that is correct. And no doubt that's going to be news that worries Oklahoma fans, as it always is when one of your commits takes a visit elsewhere. And there was a time where this was not the case, right? There was a time where Brent Venables and the Oklahoma staff didn't allow their commits to take visits elsewhere. And they've altered that policy and that philosophy over the years. They've just become a little bit more accustomed to what modern recruiting looks like in the NIL era and how things go for some of these kids. And I guess just an increased willingness to fight the battle in the long run, play the long game, if you will, and trust that their guys are going to stay faithful to the University of Oklahoma, and that a visit elsewhere is only going to strengthen their feelings about why they chose Oklahoma in the first place and the level of commitment that they feel to the University of Oklahoma. But this one's particularly notable because Braden Allen is a Louisiana kid. Right?
He's from Lafayette.
Yeah, grew up rooting for LSU as so many kids in the boot do, grew up dreaming of wearing the purple and gold. Now, here's the thing, right? LSU doesn't have a head coach right now. And so even if they were to offer him, first off, I don't know who that offer could or would come from. I suppose the interim head coach, Frank Wilson, but basically the next head coach at LSU, whenever he's hired, which you would expect is going to be in the next couple of weeks, whenever he's hired, his first order of business is going to be to cobble together the remainder of LSU's 2026 recruiting class from scratch. And no doubt there will be an internal list already formed for him, as there often is, of guys that he needs to watch and put his own stamp on. But in the meantime, LSU's current staff, what's left of Brian Kelly's staff, has been in touch with Braden Allen. They invited him down for the game tomorrow. He's going to go check it out. Braden Allen told me earlier today that he's still 100% committed to OU, but look, Tiger Stadium's a really fun place to watch a football game. Why wouldn't you, especially if you've been watching LSU your whole life like Allen has? So is there anything there to be worried about right this second? No. However, let's watch and see who LSU's next head coach winds up being and whether one of the first offers that he elects to extend goes to a home state kid who's committed to another big-time P4 institution like Braden Allen.
And that's the thing where, like, almost similar to Bo Bentley, where you said he grew up rooting for the Sooners, wanting to wear the crimson and cream, and sometimes you can't knock a kid off of those emotional ties and those dreams that they've had since adolescence, you know. So if that's the case for Braden Allen, you know, now you might have something to worry about. But even if Braden Allen flips to LSU, backing off of his pledge to the Sooners, you're still in a good spot at wide receiver with Daniel Odom and obviously just now flipping Jasir Rogers. Hey, Zerek Sidney was a guy that we wanted to talk about the other day from the state of Arizona, and he's a kid, I'll tell you, Parker, that I really, really like. You're talking about speed and a good combination of size and strength, but also he plays with an attitude, too, that makes me think he's going to be a really good wide receiver at the next level. Maybe not as a freshman, but as he develops into a sophomore, junior year, combining all the intangibles with his size and just the ferocity and attitude that he plays with the game with, I love Zerek Sidney, man.
there's a lot to like about Zerek Sidney. He's a big-time football player and would be a huge addition for Oklahoma at the wide receiver position in 2027 if they're able to close that one out. Now, I do expect that he's going to narrow down his recruitment officially here in the next couple of weeks. I think Oklahoma has the inside track there. Is it done? Absolutely not. But I think what will help the Sooners' case there is that they are very much on the verge of locking things down with his blue-chip teammate, cornerback Mikyal Davis, down there at Desert Edge High School in Arizona. So if the Sooners land Mikyal Davis, which as of right now is my expectation, then that's only going to help solidify their already strong odds to land his teammate Zerek Sidney as well. So that's definitely a recruitment to watch moving forward for Oklahoma in the 2027 cycle. And I will remind everyone of something I've been saying for a couple of months now. It would not shock me at all if when the calendar flips from 2025 to 2026, i.e. New Year's Day, Oklahoma already has double-digit commits in the 27 cycle.
That's nuts. I mean, just plain and simple. That is absolutely nuts. Now, you and I also have been discussing Dane Bathurst for the last couple of days now. Decommitted from Duke, defensive end, really good size, really good tape as well. We've got new news on this dude now, do we not?
We do indeed. He's going to be OVing for the Missouri game next week. So Dane Bathurst going to be in town. As of right now, I believe he is the only official visitor scheduled for that weekend, pending the outcome of what Oklahoma's trying to make happen with Messiah Mickens, the Penn State commit, who's kind of the guy that they view as the missing piece at running back alongside DeZeph Walker. Now, the four guys that are locked in for official visits on November 29th, as of right now, are Mickens, Noah Abibi, Jonas Muya, and Malik Franklin. Of course, Abibi and Muya, two fresh offers on the offensive line, Franklin an offer on the defensive line. Oklahoma would like to move Mickens' official visit up from November 29th at the LSU game to November 22nd at the Missouri game. So we'll see if that happens. But for the moment, the guest of honor, if you will, for Oklahoma's matchup against Missouri next week is going to be Dane Bathurst. Brand new offer. He just posted it this morning. He's had the offer for a matter of days now. But after decommitting from Duke yesterday, this is another guy that Oklahoma feels is a missing puzzle piece for them in their 2026 class on the defensive side of the ball. And as we began discussing yesterday, Grayson, there's really a lot to like with Bathurst when you turn on the tape.
Yeah, no doubt. And, you're talking about a dude who has brute strength, runs through a lot of people, plays with an attitude. I compared him in with certain characteristics with the film you see of Jake Krell. If you miss that, Krell is more of a guy who it's just hard for you to touch, whereas Dane Bathurst, he's just going to run right through you. That's my early indications when it comes to the differences of those two. But in terms of violence and attitude, those two are very comparable to each other. Anything else on the recruiting news? I want to get back to some of the text on the text line concerning the Alabama-Oklahoma game to round out the show, but anything else on the recruiting trail that is worth mentioning at this moment in time?
Yeah, one more thing that's relevant to the whole Bathurst conversation, and we discussed it earlier in the week, Grayson, very briefly, but worth reiterating for those that maybe weren't listening at the time or aren't completely apprised of the situation regarding Dane Bathurst. He is classified by all major recruiting services as an edge rusher. However, Oklahoma's actually recruiting him as an off-ball linebacker. So it's Nate Dreiling that is running point in the relationship department for Oklahoma in what will be a very whirlwind courtship of Dane Bathurst. Now, this is one of those, Grayson, where I kind of throw my hands up and say, Jim Nagy, you know more than I do, because that dude has been grinding tape for 30 years. And when I watch the tape on Dane Bathurst, I see a guy that's a very, very high ceiling, early impact potential type of guy off the edge. I see him as a project. Jim Nagy in the OU front office, they see him as an off-ball linebacker. So the tape doesn't scream off-ball linebacker to me. It screams more edge rusher. But what I see is not what Nagy and that front office sees. So it's one of those where, especially given how fresh all of this is with the brand new front office at Oklahoma, you kind of just got to trust these guys and that they know what they're talking about.
Yeah, and that's interesting because I'm with you. When I watch the tape, I see, this dude can be a really good edge. I mean, like really good, because it's not as if he's undersized. I mean, he's right now 6'3", 235, 240 range. You compared him to Taylor Wine yesterday. Like, I see a ferocity and a speed that could translate to being a really good edge rusher. So that's kind of curious that they would want to take him at linebacker because, well, let me ask you this. Does he, and I didn't see this on tape, does he have any experience playing off-ball linebacker?
Yes. Now, he plays more off the edge in either a 2-point or a 3-point stance. He's played a very variegated role throughout his high school career at both Plant High School down in the Tampa area, and then now in his senior year up at Carmel High School in Indiana. So he's done a little bit of everything on the front seven, save for, I guess, playing 3-tech. But I see him more as an edge type of guy. I guess maybe the thing that you keep in your back pocket as a potential outcome there is if he gets to campus and he's just too big or he develops a certain way, then it's a lot easier to turn an off-ball linebacker into an edge rusher than turn an edge rusher into an off-ball linebacker. So who knows? Maybe Dane Bathurst is listed as a defensive end on Oklahoma's roster 3 years from now. But at least off the bat, Oklahoma's going to try him at linebacker and see where things go, assuming he does pick the Sooners.
Guts on the YouTube chat says they should have never changed Brent's policy on recruits not taking visits. And Kevin Lewis says Bathurst looks like an unnecessary roughness penalty waiting to happen on tape. And I like it. Totally agree. He does look like somebody who is going to get some unnecessary flags. And you know what? You harness it like he does, he's going to be a really good player. Hey, Denver from Indiana on the text line, Parker, says it's pronounced Carmo, not Carmel.
It's pronounced what now?
Carmo. Carmo.
Ain't no way. Carmel, yeah, you're messing with me, Denver.
That is what Denver, who currently lives in Indiana, is saying. Hey, we got a lot of texts about the Oklahoma and Alabama game that will commence about 24 hours from now. So what we'll do, we'll take a break. Come right back here on the Ref, the home of Sooner fans, locked in with Parker Thune and Grayson Singleton. One more segment to go to round out the week after this.
A true Sooner fan wouldn't be caught dead without the KREF app. Join the Army. Get the app. Tell your friends. This is the Ref, where diehard Sooner fans listen.
Hey guys, this is Lisa Towie, owner and broker of 828 Real Estate. 828 Real Estate is your premier full-service commercial and residential real estate brokerage and property management firm. With our team of real estate agents and specialized property management team, 828 is here for you in every capacity. Whether a seller or buyer, an investor or renter, please explore our website at 828re.com. 828 Real Estate, service with purpose. 405-701-8881. Call us today.
Are pests invading your home? Call Avenge Pest Control now and get your initial pest control service at half price. Avenge Pest Control is a family-owned and operated company, proudly serving the entire Oklahoma City metro area, Enid, Ardmore, and the Durant-Texoma area. They take care of all of our pest control needs here at the Ref, and they offer free termite inspections and comprehensive services. With mice and rat season upon us, don't wait. Protect your home today. Get more info at AvengePestControl.com or call 405-693-2233. Avenge Pest Control.
Get behind the wheel for less at Eskridge Honda. Take $1,250 off MSRP on a new 2025 Accord SE. That's right, $1,250 off on a new Honda Accord SE. Stop by today at our new location on 89th and I-35 or online at eskridgehonda.com. Available to customers with approved credit through Honda Financial Services. See dealer for details.
Hey, it's Dari Noka for Totally Tickets. Hey, Ref Army, you looking for the best place to buy tickets to your next OU game, Thunder game, or the best concerts? My friend Mike, call him Fletch at Totally Tickets has you covered. Visit TotallyTickets.com to find your event today. Oh, and good news, Ref Army. Just type in the promo code KREF and get up to 10% off your purchase. Go to TotallyTickets.com now. They are the best.
Looking to redefine your home or office space? At Wonder House Design, their professional design team specializes in custom window coverings of every kind, from draperies, blinds, shutters, and shades to outdoor automated screens. Each piece is designed and crafted to fit your home perfectly. Need a furniture refresh? Our tailored upholstery and high-performance textiles are made to stand up to life's messes and moments. Visit Wonder House Design's new showroom at 1228 North Interstate Drive in Robinson Crossing, or call 405-831-5908.
Life is yours to spend. Spend it expanding your balance. Spend it expanding your mind. Spend it wondering what comes next. Spend it trusting that God has a plan. Spend it taking small steps in your own life. Spend it making a big impact on someone else's. First United Bank. Spend life wisely.
Have you or someone you know suffered a loss to your home or business from the recent storms? Before you accept a settlement, call Brown O'Haver at 405-735-5510. Brown O'Haver is a local-based company helping Oklahomans with claims since 1988 with preparation and expert analysis detailing your loss and insurance settlement. As your trusted consultant, Brown O'Haver can give you peace of mind and make sure you're getting what's yours. Call Brown O'Haver today, 405-735-5510, and make sure they're working for you.
Hi, Josh Helmer here for my friends at Auto Image USA in Norman, where they have everything you need to upgrade your ride. At Auto Image USA, they have so many services for you like paint correction, window tint, paint protection film, or maybe you want that boat, RV, or car looking brand new in the interior again with the top-of-the-line detailing. Plus, you can get their Enviro Shield paint and interior fabric protection backed by their 3 or 5 year warranty. Call them today, 405-321-4444. They are the best. Check them out.
Grayson, Singleton, and Parker Thune on Locked In on the Ref Radio Sports Network. We are the home of Sooner fans. KRefSports.tv's got 6 games this weekend in the first round of the high school football season. Edmond North and Edmond Memorial take on each other. Deer Creek and Yukon. Mustang and Norman North, the game that I'll be on the call for. Piedmont, Bartlesville, Southmore travels to Ponca City, and Norman High travels to the 918 to take on Union, also known as the high school of one Dari Noka. Parker, it seems as if Denver from Indiana either had a spell check error or something, because he did take exception to the way you pronounce a specific city in Indiana, but he said it has no O sound on the end, so not caramel? Is that, I think that's what he's trying to communicate here on the text line?
Caramel? Okay, that makes sense. Carmel, caramel, I can see how it would be either one. Carmo never made any sense whatsoever.
It did.
So I'm glad we cleared that up.
I am glad we cleared that up, too. A verified source said, I live in Carmel. It's called Carmel. So there you go on that. 405-651-3439 as we close up a Friday on Locked In. And we want to hear from you guys concerning the Alabama and OU game. What do you think wins it for Oklahoma? What do you think is going to be key for the Sooners to pull off the upset? Ryan in Jacksonville asks, why does Jeremy Bernard get the love right now, but Satania has almost exact numbers with an offense that hasn't peaked yet?
Yeah, well, I mean, Jeremy Bernard gets the love at Alabama. Isaiah Satania gets the love at Oklahoma. Is it the case that perhaps Jeremy Bernard is getting talked about more nationally than Isaiah Satania is? Yes, but I also just think that's a natural byproduct of Alabama being the number 4 team in the country and Oklahoma being the number 11 team in the country. The best players at the top 5 program in the nation are going to get talked about more than the best players at the number 11 program in the country. That's just kind of how it goes. So, yeah, look, Isaiah Satania's had a fantastic season. He's been John Mateer's go-to guy for the majority of the campaign. He's on track to put up a 1,000-yard campaign, which has only happened once in this decade, the decade of the 2020s for Oklahoma, that being Marvin Mims in 2022, the other example. But Satania has been fantastic. I don't think anybody on the Oklahoma side of things or even nationally is unaware of just how talented Satania is and how impactful he's been. But I think the love for Bernard versus the love for Satania is just a natural consequence of the fact that Alabama has been better this season than Oklahoma has to this point.
A texter in the 405 says, OU defense, Stymie Simpson forces a couple turnovers, Mateer on target, and OU shines 31-20 over Alabama. And again, that's going to be key. I don't see a way that Oklahoma wins the game by losing the turnover battle. Like, that's not going to happen. You're going to have to get a couple turnovers against a quarterback who has only thrown one interception all season long, and John Mateer's going to have to play clean. He absolutely has. Now, do I think the offense still has a lot of improvement to go in this season? My answer to that would be no. I think they are who they are, but if they lean into who they are and they execute who they are, which is get the ball to guys like Isaiah Satania quickly, you've got a running game with two dudes that you seem to like, and you've got John Mateer running the football off of that. I don't think there's going to be a new evolution to what Oklahoma's offense is. It is what it is at this point in the year, but can they execute what that is to a level where you can beat Alabama? So that's where I think Oklahoma's offense is. Can they execute? If they do, you can put up 24, 27 points on Alabama, sure. And with that, your defense could be able to win you the game by holding the tie to 21 points. But to me, there's not going to be John Mateer turning into a frontline quarterback in the country. That he is what he is. The running game is what it is. The receivers have their skill sets. But if you can work right with everything, who knows what could happen? Case in point, Oklahoma last year when they beat Alabama here in Norman.
Yeah, and to me, what I want to see from this offense tomorrow, obviously it's going to have to start with Xavier Robinson in the run game. We know that. We've talked about that ad nauseum. But with the return of Keontez Lewis, I'm curious to see if the shot game comes back, because we've not seen John Mateer take many shots downfield, especially since returning from thumb surgery. Keontez Lewis is the type of receiver that you can take downfield shots to, because not only does he have speed and plenty of it, he's also 6'2" and can climb the ladder. So I'd love to see, at least on an occasion or two tomorrow, for John Mateer just to lay one out downfield and let Keontez Lewis go and get it. Now, I don't know how many snaps Lewis is going to play and what will be his first action since the Red River shootout, but if Keontez Lewis is off the field at any point, I would expect that the guy who is primarily spelling him, I should say, is going to be not Giovanni Gibson, but Jermichael Carter instead. And we've started to see Jermichael Carter play a little bit more as the season has gone on. I think we will probably see a season high in snaps tomorrow from Jermichael Carter, if I had to guess.
Oh, I agree with that. I mean, because you can't just thrust Keontez Lewis back into playing 95% of the snaps. Or maybe you can, depending on where his body is and where his conditioning is. But I would expect a little bit more rotation. You've got Giovanni Gibson, even though he hasn't looked uber impressive this year. But you still have him as a big-bodied receiver. You got Jermichael Carter, like you just said. I believe there is more room now with those five wide receivers, Burks, Satania, in there as well, that you can be able to rotate and do a little bit more mixing and matching with combinations based on matchups and whatnot as well. So I don't think Keontez is going to play 95% of the offensive snaps, given that people like yourself, Parker, have said a lot of really good things about Jermichael Carter down over the course of the last couple of weeks or so.
Yeah, I'll tell you what one individual inside the Switzer Center told me last week during the bye. Jermichael Carter is our best player that nobody knows about. The rest of the world, obviously Oklahoma fans know who Jermichael Carter is. The rest of the country hasn't met Jermichael Carter yet. And they may not until next season. Who knows? But there's been an expectation behind closed doors for about the last month that at some point before the end of the season, Jermichael Carter was going to have himself a game. And you can hope, right, that game comes tomorrow against Alabama at Bryant-Denny Stadium, because the Sooners could use a breakout performance along those lines to forge past the Crimson Tide. You like Oklahoma's chances against Missouri and LSU. Regardless of what happens tomorrow, the Sooners are going to be favored against the Tigers of Missouri and the Tigers of LSU to close out the season. So it's really just a matter of taking care of business there. But if there's a game where you could really stand to see one of your guys have the best performance of his FBS career to date, it would be tomorrow for a guy like Jermichael Carter.
A texter in the 580 says, can we just not shoot ourselves in the foot when we have momentum? I'd be happy with that. And this was something I talked with Ted about on Monday, is that given how disciplined this Alabama team is and how good they are too, and the fact that they're at home, you cannot give this team extra opportunities to beat you. If you're on defense and you get off the field on third down. Don't rough the passer, no holdings in the secondary. Like, a lot of these penalties have to come down. If you're on offense, you generate a big play. You can't have it negated because of a holding penalty in the backfield or an alignment penalty pre-snap, and one of those things. So when you generate positives for yourself against this Alabama team, you've already beaten them. You've already done the work. Don't give it back to them and give them extra chances to put you in an adverse situation and beat you, because that is one way. I'll tell you that. Of all of Oklahoma's trends this year, that to me is the scariest one. If Oklahoma allows Alabama extra chances to beat them, Alabama will likely beat them. If they can cut down on the extra opportunities that they give teams to beat them, Oklahoma's got a good chance to go in here and win this game.
It's what we call unforced errors, right? And that's the category into which most penalties fall. Now, there are certain situations, I think about, for instance, Michael Boganowski's pass interference penalty against South Carolina, where he kind of gets lost, gets his head turned around the wrong way, his receiver's behind him, and he's got to commit pass interference to ensure that he doesn't get beat. The ball was underthrown by Lenoris Sellers in that particular instance. So realistically, Boganowski could have turned around, found the ball, made a play on it. But obviously when you haven't located the ball in the air, you don't know where it's at. So you basically just have to mitigate the damage as best you can at that point. But holding, false starts, etc., all of the self-inflicted wounds that Oklahoma has been prone to at times on the offensive side of the ball, as well as roughing the passer, face masks on the defensive side of the ball, all things that have burned Oklahoma at times, and at times on third down as well throughout the season. If you can minimize those unforced errors, it only increases the odds that you'll be able to go get a win in a hostile road environment tomorrow against Alabama.
Mateer's thumb on the YouTube chat says, possess the darn ball wins it for Oklahoma. Basically, sustained drives ending in some sort of points. And that is where our man Tate Sandell comes into play, right? Because depending on field position, Oklahoma, because of the range of Sandell, you only got to get about 2, maybe 3 first downs, and you're within range of getting 3 points. But the majority of your drives, I think, for Oklahoma, yes, have to end in points in this game, especially, if anything, punt the ball away. You can't be committing turnovers. A-Train says, I don't know. Mateer's style is risk-taking, and I hope we can balance that risk-taking with giving them the ball when passing.
Say that again now?
Yeah, okay. This is a text from A-Train, reading it verbatim here. Mateer's style is risk-taking, and I hope we can balance that risk-taking with, I guess, not giving them the ball.
Okay, gotcha. Yeah, I mean, you live by the risk, die by the risk. That's John Mateer's style of football. We've seen it throughout the season. And, yeah, is he maybe a little bit more turnover-prone than you would like for him to be? Yes, but that's also offset by the reality that whether as a runner or a passer, he just has a propensity at times to make some awesome plays because of that aggressive nature. And so, man, I don't know. I think based on how the first quarter of this game goes, based on the sense early of what the game flow is going to be like, maybe Oklahoma, maybe Ben Arbuckle adopts a little bit more of an aggressive mentality with the play calling and the play design and the schematics. Or maybe it's the type of deal where Oklahoma is just content to do what they did last year and just play smash mouth football for 4 quarters and trust their fundamentals, trust their physicality to be able to see them through. So, again, that goes back to one of the keys that I mentioned earlier in the show for Oklahoma, which is find a way early on to be able to control the pace of the game. Because especially when you're the road team, especially when you're a road underdog, that always plays in your favor.
Parker, real quickly, got 10 seconds. Give us a score prediction.
27-20 Alabama. I'm taking the Crimson Tide tomorrow. My apologies to everyone.
27-20. I've got the Tide as well. All right, that'll do it for us here on Locked In. Tyler and Travis from the roof at the Redmond Hotel coming up next, 3 to 6, to round out our Sooner coverage as the Sooners get ready to take on the Tide of Alabama. For Parker Thune, I'm Grayson Singleton. We'll talk to you on Monday.